Live from Joliet Memorial Stadium, the home of the St. Francis Fighting Saints. This is CCAC Soccer. The Saints taking on the Trinity Christian College Trolls today, and what should be a pretty big game as far as the season CCAC standings are concerned. We expect it to be a fun one as well. My name is Terry Bonadonna on the play-by-play for today's contest as the Saints come in 6-2-2, still unbeaten in conference, 2-0-1. Trinity Christian 9-1-0 on the season. They have lost one conference game. They are 2-1 so far this season. Both teams take the field. The Saints in white with brown numbers. Trolls are in navy blue with light blue numbers, light blue trim as well. They'll get the first touch of the game here, and I'll get to the starters in just a moment. Big challenge here for St. Francis, no doubt about it. A week ago at this time, Trinity was ranked in the top 25. They lost the game, dropped out of the poll, but still among the top 30 vote getters among all NAIA teams in the country. So this is going to be a challenge, and St. Francis controls the ball for the first time right now, pushing it out of bounds. The starters for today's game, beginning with Trinity Christian on defense: Kaylee Van Elst, Ellie Brummel, Lexi Zambrano. The midfielders are Drew McCarthy, Shaylin Cosmas, Chloe Smith, Taylor Miller, and Marissa Fields. At forward, Jessica Bianchi, Jessica Owen, and the goalkeeper is Sierra Christopher. I'll give you numbers on Sierra Christopher in just a moment. That is, of course, Trinity moving from right to left on your screen here in the first half. The Saints going from left to right and shooting into the south goal for the first 45 minutes today. Carly Draheim trying to get a shot off, but she has the ball wrestled away from her. She hits the deck, but no foul call. As we look at the officials for today's game: Adair Hortelis, Jaime Guzman, and Adair Estrada. And they're trying to make a move against a very tough very tough St. Francis defense. Estrada kicks it out of the way, and Estrada trying to turn it upfield, but loses the ball out of bounds instead for a throw-in. Starters for St. Francis today defensively: Brittany Cook, Brenda Estrada, Kiki Estrada, and Kelly Petrowski. Actually, Petrowski playing up at the forward position, listed on the roster as defender, but she's a forward. Grace McDermott, the other defender on the team. Forwards, you already heard Kelly Petrowski and Olivia De La Rosa as well. Midfielders are Olivia Hollander, Carly Draheim, Camille Papalera, and Casey Harris. Christian moving forward. Grace McDermott trying to get in the way of the ball there. It's loose on the back end. Papalera knocks it out of bounds. Goalkeeper for St. Francis today is Jessica Keeley. Looking at the starting goalies, both of these teams actually use multiple goalkeepers, different from the majority of teams you would see, as Trinity makes a move into the box and poked away there by Hollander. Petrowski trying to turn it upfield. She does, keeping it inbounds along the sideline. De La Rosa making a run at that ball, but Drew McCarthy gets in her way and allows Kaylee Van Elst to simply tap it back to the keeper, Sierra Christopher. Christopher has started 10, including today, of the 11 games that Trinity Christian has played this year, but she rarely, if ever, plays a full game. We'll probably see Emily Ponstein at some point. Typically, the two of them mix up their play. Christopher starts, Ponstein finishes. It's an odd mix of goalkeepers, not the way most teams do it. But whatever works for Josh Leonard, they allow very few goals. So it's hard to criticize anything they do. Ball sent into the center of the field. Carly Draheim pushes it out of the way. Christopher has 13 saves this year, a 5-1 record. She doesn't have any shutouts, but that's not because Trinity doesn't shut teams out. It's because she never plays a full game. She has a 0.89 goals allowed average. Emily Ponstein, who again we'll probably see later today, the closer, if you will, a 3-0 record, a 0.67 goals allowed average, and 25 saves this year. Down deep, that ball stays in bounds. Kick back, and there's a cross, a header to the right side. It's a little bit wide, and nothing doing as it's cleared by the Fighting Saints. St. Francis uses two goalkeepers, but in a different way. Jessica Keeley and Bethany Domkowski share the action, but not usually in the same game. John Nikšević has had an interesting decision to make every couple of days. Who do you start in net? It hasn't really mattered They've been going back and forth, but it seems like whoever plays inevitably ends up as CCAC Defender of the Week. Today it's Jessica Keeley making her 4th start and 6th appearance. A 1.07 goals allowed average and 23 saves this season. Bethany Domkowski, the other option, she has started 6 games this season with a 1.01 goals allowed average. Kiki Estrada turns around to the left and is booted out of bounds by Chloe Smith. 4.5 minutes into the game, no score yet, no shots yet. Mostly the ball has been on this side of the field. Trinity put some pressure on Carly Drahan trying to change that. She rolls it off to the left, and Brenda Estrada. Estrada straight down the center of the field. Pushes off to the left side. Olivia De La Rosa on the run, but she won't get to that ball. Neither will Drew McCarthy, the freshman midfielder from Sun City, California. Lets it roll out of bounds for a throw-in. Here come the Trolls once again. Lexi Zambrano. One of 3 Lexis on the roster. Unfortunately, the only one in the lineup today, keeping things a little bit easier. Come to think of it, I usually just refer to them by their last names anyway, so they could all be named Lexi. There's Drahan pushing off to Casey Harris. Harris turns to her right and kicks it away. Intercepted there by Marissa Fields. Good play on the ball there by Camille Papalera. Papalera kicks it back to Trinity Christian though. Ball loose around midfield, and Casey Harris comes away with it. Harris trying to make a run down the sideline. She pushes it ahead, but no help there. Kaylee Van Elst will let it roll all the way out of bounds. It's going to be a goal kick. Van Elst will give the kick. Off to the right side, intercepted by Petrowski. Petrowski on the right side. Works her way back. Trying to center it, but it's intercepted by Van Elst. Petrowski gets it back from Casey Harris, and Van Elst clears. There's Jessica Bianchi. Bianchi is the big goal scorer on this team. 14 of them for the season. The team has scored a whopping 38 goals this year in only 10 games. They're averaging just under 4 per contest. You could probably do the math yourself to figure out the exact number. There's their best opportunity for their first goal of today's game, but the ball sails out of bounds. Jessica Keeley watches it go for a goal kick. Jessica Keeley wearing bright red as the goalkeeper, in contrast to the rest of the team's white. Actually, the color scheme for Trinity Christian for the goalie is fairly similar to the rest of the team. Sarah Christopher wearing dark gray. Everyone else in navy blue. I think they call it a handball there. So it'll be a free kick for Trinity. 37:45 to go in the first half. No score yet. St. Francis trying to make it a double-header sweep over Trinity Christian as the men's team just took out the Troll men 6-2. A resounding CCAC victory, the biggest conference win they've had in years. Ball into the box and headed away by Estrada. Here's Petrowski. Petrowski trying to work with Drahan to take that ball away, but it is instead brought in by Chloe Smith, or rather Taylor Miller. Jessica Keeley will let that ball roll softly over to her. And now as it stops spinning, she picks her up. 37 minutes to go. Keeley will let everybody move downfield and give a high, deep punt across midfield. Touched first by Marissa Fields. Drahan pushed ahead and out of bounds. Ellie Brummel, junior defender wearing captain's armband, tosses it in. Fields against a pair of Saints. Fields dribbles it out of bounds. It was last touched by Casey Harris. Tossed in, and this time is last touched by Trinity Christian. It bounces right back out. On the far side of the field, here's Drew McCarthy. Pushing it ahead for Shaylin Cosmos. Jessica Owen cuts it back towards the middle of the field, passes off to her left. Here's Marissa Fields. Fields dribbling in on Grace McDermott, shoots a little bit wide. Not sure if that ball was tipped at the last second by Jessica Keeley. It was not, so it'll be a goal kick rather than a corner. So another shot right there for Trolls of Trinity Christian, but they cannot capitalize. They've had the ball on this side of the field for most of the game, and that's typically the case for St. Francis. They're not a big offensive team. They don't have a lot of firepower. De La Rosa and Petrowski play the striker positions and rarely get much rest because the Saints don't have a very big bench. They only have 3 reserves that they can bring in. Sometimes we do see Martina Caturba or Alejandra Alonso spelling them and trying to provide a little offensive spark, but usually these two, Petrowski and De La Rosa, both very competent, but don't necessarily have the game taken to them very often. It's a defensive team for sure, and the defense stands strong more often than not, but they have a hard time changing possession. We'll see if they can do it right here. Down the field towards Petrowski, knocks it down with the chest, but cannot control it. Instead, it'll be Taylor Miller of Trinity Christian pushing it ahead. Here's Owen. Jessica Owen looks to her left, passes in that direction. Right back to Owen, now Fields, down in the corner. Fields working against McDermott, knocked off McDermott and out of bounds for a corner kick. The defense for St. Francis is excellent and will have to remain so here. They allow less than a goal per game. It's going to be tough against a high-powered offense like this today. Kick is away and headed out of harm's way, outside of the box. Trinity still has control though. This is Miller, getting it right back from Fields. Now on the far side, Owen shoots, and it's smothered by Jessica Keeley, Chloe Smith rather, on the shot right there. Keeley jumps on top of it, a good play by her. We remain scoreless, just about 12 minutes into today's game. Fields hits it out of bounds. St. Francis will get the throw in here. Headed by Petrowski. There's De La Rosa getting off her shoulder. That one knocked off her hand, and it will be a handball. Inadvertent, but it clearly hit off the hand there. So a free kick here for the Trolls. 50-50 ball off towards the sideline. And last touch by Trinity. Grace McDermott will get to throw it in. Or will she? No, it's deflected by McDermott. So the Trolls will get possession here. And they'll get to toss it in. Here's Miller. Miller off to Lexi Zambrano. Miller gets it back. Looks to her left and finds Fields over there. Fields turns it to the inside. It'll be a Hollander jumps in the way. Now an opening, a shot. It's a little bit high from Jessica Bianchi, and that was a scary moment there. Bianchi, 14 goals this year. She's not one who misses the open ones too often, but she had a good look at the net, and she just skied it over. Jessica Keeley did not have to make a save attempt on that one. It was out of the range. So still no score here. Just over 13 minutes into the action. On the far side, it's Carly Draheim, and a whistle blows there. We're going to have a free kick for Trinity. Ellie Brummel sets it up and sends it away. It bounces once into the box. Grace McDermott steps in, kicks it out of the way, and Casey Harris tracks it down but can't keep that ball in bounds as it sails out towards the St. Francis sideline. Hollander knocked out of bounds. McDermott lobs it in. Petrowski trying to keep the Trolls away from that ball, and she does a nice job of doing just that. So Saints moving it downfield little by little, just on throw-ins here. We're going to have an early substitution as Alejandra Alonso comes in and Olivia Hollander comes out just 14.5 minutes into the game. Earlier typically than you would see a sub, but Alonso is out there now and trying to get a little offensive help. Alonso, quick-footed, loses the ball there as it's given up to Chloe Smith. Smith works it forward for Bianchi. Bianchi cutting down the middle of the field into the teeth of the defense. She rolls it ahead, and it's cleared by McDermott. Pushed back the other way by Trinity Christian. Here's a run into the box and a sliding stop by Jessica Keeley before Alexi Zambrano can get in on it. Trinity Christian continues to own possession in this game. But not only have they not scored, they really haven't had too many good opportunities to score. One or two good shots, or one or two good looks in which good shots may have given them the lead, but that's it. Saints have not really had any chances on offense. They've been playing back on their heels for much of the game, but they have, as usual, stood strong on defense. Brummel heads it at midfield. McDermott back the other way, and a foul called against the Trolls. Carly Drahan will set it up for the kick. Hit deep, but over the head of Alonso. And we're taking it the other way here. That ball rolls weakly towards the sideline. Kiki Estrada will not let it go out of bounds, but Shaylin Posmus jumps in, pushes back for Trinity Christian. Posmus on the move for the Trolls. Towards the center of the field, Camille Papalera jumps in, pushes it down the other way. And Casey Harris knocks it out of bounds. Posmus working against Draheim. Rolls it to the outside, pushes back inside, but Kiki Estrada intercepts and boots it back towards midfield. Alonso going up against Smith. Alonso trying to keep it in bounds, but it rolls out. 28 minutes to play in the first half. We have no score. A lot of action on this side of the field, though. This side being St. Francis's side that they are protecting. Their defense has been involved consistently. Casey Harris takes it away from Chloe Smith. And here comes Harris downfield. She's got some help in front of her. Rolled out to Petrowski. Petrowski kicks it ahead. Olivia De La Rosa was offside. She stopped herself to stay onside, and she lost her momentum. So when Petrowski's ball rolled forward, De La Rosa could not get there. Sierra Christopher makes the stop. Saints had a little bit of excitement on a run right there. That play had developed just a little bit quicker. De La Rosa would have been out on top of that ball. But again, she had to stop herself to make sure she could stay on sides. And as a result, the play goes nowhere for the Saints. But that was one of their better offensive chances they've had today. See if they can turn that momentum into a few more opportunities as the game progresses. Drahan jumps in to intercept the throw-in. Rolled off from McDermott. McDermott sends it ahead. Long run Alonso. She get there first. Alonso does touch it first, but rolls it weakly into the hands of Sierra Christopher. Nice run for Alejandra Alonso with two defenders bearing down on her. She didn't really have a chance to control that one and then shoot. She felt she had to shoot with the first touch and just couldn't get a lot on it. Still a shot there for the Saints. And suddenly they're starting to take it to the Trinity defense a little bit. The game is reversing fields. Petrowski, tough first touch. She loses control. Trinity back on it, but rolled out of bounds on the pass intended for Marissa Fields. McDermott tosses in to De La Rosa. Here's Petrowski. Back to the middle of the field. Petrowski kicks it ahead, intercepted by Brummel. McDermott back to the center of the field. No one there in white. Here's Chloe Smith. Ahead for Postmus. Saints take it back. De La Rosa to Draheim. Brenda Estrada over to Casey Harris. Harris downfield looking for De La Rosa or Petrowski. Neither one there. De La Rosa will keep the pressure on. Chasing Kaylee Van Elst all the way back and making Van Elst act quickly. She does kick it away. Carly Drahan takes it for the Saints. Dermott loses control. 25 minutes to go in the first half. Possession starting to even up a little bit. Started to say on the Trinity side a little more often over the last few minutes. Headed back into the box and picked up cleanly by Sierra Christopher. Well, bounces once before midfield, headed by Fields, but out of bounds. McDermott puts the ball back in play. At midfield, Postmus ahead to Bianchi. Jessica Bianchi works her way around one defender, trying to get around another. She does, blows by Camille Papalera, but she can't get by Grace McDermott and Kiki Estrada, who get it out of Bianchi's touch. Now here comes Fields, rolling into the box. Knocked away, ball loose just in front of the box. Pushed off to the right side by Jessica Owen. There's Chloe Smith from long range and scoring. Chloe Smith, a beautiful shot to make it 1-0 Trinity Christian. 23 minutes, 56 seconds to go in the first half, and it is Trinity striking first. And that was just a great shot from Chloe Smith. Not a whole lot Keeley could have done about that. Saints defense was fighting, and they were all trapped inside the box. They seemed to have cleared it, but Chloe Smith just came in from the back end. About 25 yards out on the right side. She just fired one into the top left corner of the net out of the reach of Keeley to make it 1-0. Trinity Christian. Now the Saints have their work cut out for them. They knew they did at the start of this game. You know, at the beginning of any game, you're going to need at least one goal to win, so now they need at least one goal to tie. And probably more. Trinity is not often held to only one goal. Sarah Christopher will step up and knock that ball downfield. For Chloe Smith, by the way, that goal was her first of the season. She's played in all 11 games. She started 10 of them. Well, the freshman midfielder had never scored before, her first collegiate goal, and it was really a pretty shot from Smith. Here's Draheim's free kick. Into the box, knocked away. Kiki Estrada. Chased down by Van Elst and knocked forward to the midfield. Here's Zambrano. Taken away from her by Carly Draheim. De La Rosa pushes it ahead for Alonso. Alonso, nice cut back towards the middle. Knocked away, though, out of bounds for a throw-in. Casey Harris will do the honors here. 22 minutes to play in the first half. Into Alejandra Alonso. Alonso against a pair of defenders, trying to work her way back towards Harris, and it's knocked out of bounds for another home team throw-in. Headed back towards the net and knocked away by Owen. We're going back for a goal kick. Martina Katurba's in there right now for the Fighting Saints with Petrowski on the bench, and the Trolls will make their first substitution. Jaden Wilson checks in. Lexi Zambrano will have a seat. Trolls are on the move. It's Bianchi. Off to the left side, Fields with the cross, and Estrada gets in the way of it, knocking it downfield. Nice work defensively by Kiki Estrada. Now here's Bianchi. Bianchi can't control it off the first touch. It's cleared out of bounds. Bianchi's one to watch. Talked about her 14 goals this season. Just put that into perspective. They only played 10 games coming in, so she's not only averaging more than 1 goal per game. She's doing it by a significant amount. Well over 1 goal per game. Anytime she doesn't score, it's a surprise. Battle for that ball at midfield, won by the Trolls, but immediately knocked out of bounds by Ellie Brummel. The throw in here for the Saints. McDermott tosses it off the head of De La Rosa. Back to the head of McDermott. Carly Draheim battling for possession. She's got it ahead to Katurba. Now Katurba trying to lead the charge. She's tripped up. Loses the ball but gets it back. Now pushed to the right side. Alonso looking for the cross, but a little bit too strong for De La Rosa. Casey Harris wins that ball. Harris shoots and does not score. Sierra Christopher, an easy save. One to nothing Trinity. 20 minutes to play in the first half. Here comes Trinity once again. But Camille Papalera, something else to say about that. She drives it the other direction. Wilson ahead to Fields. Here's Bianchi finding Wilson on the left. Wilson makes a nice move to get around Grace McDermott. Now inside the box, coming in out of nowhere, Brenda Estrada knocks it out for a corner kick. So Trinity's got a good opportunity here with the corner kick. But it looked like they had a good opportunity for a goal right there. Brenda Estrada not come flying in from behind to make a very nice play, preventing the cross there. Taylor Miller sets it up for the kick. Everybody playing off on the backside for Trinity. Kick comes into the backside. And a whistle blows. We're going the other way. Something you don't see often there. On the corner kick, foul called on Trinity before the ball even came in. Owen takes it back for Trinity. Pushes to the right side looking for Postmus, and Postmus does find it before it goes out of bounds. There's a ball straight ahead for Jaden Wilson. Wilson in front of the net. Grace McDermott knocks it away. Owen on the rebound. Knocked away again. And the Saints finally cleared out of the box. There's a shot from long range. No good from Miller. You can never go to sleep on the Trinity Christian Trolls. Every time they miss one opportunity, they're coming right back at you for a second, third, and fourth. And this time they come up empty on all of them. Papalera clears it. Carly Draheim off to the side, and Grace McDermott turns it upfield. Here's Miller for the Trolls. Miller around Casey Harris. Ahead for Wilson, and a whistle blows against St. Francis. So about 40 yards out to the left side of the net, it's going to be a free kick for Trinity Christian, being set up by Taylor Miller. It was on the right side, but this is not that far out from where Chloe Smith's goal came a little while ago. Let's see if Miller decides to put this one on net, or if she's just looking to set up one of her teammates on the right side. Here's the kick. She's going to try to put it on herself, I think, but way off to the right side, and it harmlessly rolls out of bounds. Crisis averted by the Saints. Kiki Estrada will set it up for the goal kick. Here's Here's Draheim ahead to De La Rosa. De La Rosa looking downfield for Katurba, but Drew McCarthy jumps in to intercept that ball. Knock it out of bounds. Brittany Cook will toss it in. De La Rosa crosses, nobody there. Fields knocks it up in the air. McDermott ahead for Draheim. Katurba cannot jump into the passing lane there. Instead, Posmus takes it away. Posmus working on Cook, and Cook knocks it away from her and out of bounds. Just under 16 minutes on the clock. Estrada will get it out of there rather than tapping it back to Keeley. She puts it up in the air. Fields on the receiving end. Marissa Fields turns and shoots, and Keeley lets that one go out of bounds wide to the left, to the right of the net. That sets up another goal kick. Trinity Christian 9-1 this year. They've scored 38 goals. They've allowed only 7, so a plus actually including today, they've scored 39 now, so plus 32 goal differential for them this year, which is just an incredible number. In 10 games, they're averaging to win by more than 3 per contest. CCAC play for them, though, has been tight. A lot of close ones. They lost to Cardinal Stritch last week, and as a result of that win, Cardinal Stritch moved into the top 25. They, along with St. Francis, 2 of the 3 unbeaten teams left in conference. St. Ambrose is the other. Here come the Trolls with a chance here. Wilson ahead for Bianchi. Bianchi working against McDermott. Shoots, knocked down by Keeley. And Keeley scrambles to the ball to pick it up. Great save by the senior keeper. Another good look for Bianchi, and she fired a laser beam over to Jessica Keeley. A fantastic knockdown, and the ball was still loose in front of her. Grace McDermott was near it. Thought that maybe there was a chance for her to clear it, but she let Keeley just jump on top of that ball just before Bianchi made her second run. So it's still 1-0. That was a huge play. Can't afford to go down by 2 against this team, or against pretty much anybody. Estrada slips up. That ball goes out of bounds. Saints have had a good season too, 6-2-2, a very impressive record, but while the Trolls have a plus 32 goal differential, for St. Francis it's only plus 5, and including today's goal, it's down to plus 4. So they're 4 games over 500, but their average victory is just 1 goal. Out of bounds for St. Francis throw in here. We'll see if they can get it out of this section on the field. McDermott throws it down the sideline off the head of Alejandra Alonso. Chloe Smith jumps in front of it for the Trolls, but knocks it out of bounds for a goal kick. Last 2 games that the Saints played, both came down to the final seconds. They played back-to-back double overtime games. Most recently, a 1-0 win against Olivet Nazarene on Tuesday. In that game, they scored a goal with less than 30 seconds left in double overtime. It was about to be in the books as a tie, and they ended up with the sudden death victory. Last Saturday, at the same time, right here, against St. Xavier, they were just a couple of seconds away from a win. Less than 30 seconds left in regulation. In that game, St. Xavier scored to make it 1-1 and send it to overtime. They ended up finishing that game with a tie. So they have played some very tight, very low-scoring games of late. Deep in on the far side, as Postmus centering it for Bianchi, and Papalera jumps in front of it. Good defense by Camille Papalera. Alonso kicks it downfield. Drew McCarthy will send that one all the way back into the box. Here's De La Rosa turning around the defender. De La Rosa has a little bit of an opening. Well defended by Van Elst, and Van Elst forces it out of bounds. A corner kick coming for the Saints. Good job by De La Rosa getting around one defender, but Kaylee Van Elst did not let her by her as well. And rather than getting an open shot for De La Rosa, It'll be a corner kick. Carly Draheim sets it up, ready to send it away. Back post, just over the head of De La Rosa, and cleared by the Trolls. Brittany Cook on the far end. Passes off to Casey Harris. Back over to Cook. And out towards the box, headed away, and gotten out of there by the Trolls, out of bounds. 11 minutes to play before halftime. The visitors have the 1-goal lead. Lobbed in for Alonso, who cannot control it off the first touch. It's out of bounds. Tossed in, deflected back. Ball loose now, and chased down by Bianchi. Bianchi ahead for Jaden Wilson, gets it right back. And there's Kiki Estrada jumping in and pushing it away. Jessica Keeley watches that one die into the box. She'll pick it up, punt it downfield. 22nd minute, Chloe Smith scored the first goal of her collegiate career. That's the difference in this one right now. It was a very nice shot from Smith. Put it in top left corner, out of the reach of Jessica Keeley. Harris racing quickly down the field. And taken away from her by Ellie Brummel. Casey Harris really only has that one speed. Every time she gets the ball, she takes off. That time she was not able to control it. But she never slows things down. She's going full bore for 90 minutes. She's got it right now. She kicks it forward for Olivia De La Rosa. De La Rosa can't control it. Taken away by Ellie Brummel. And Brummel turns it downfield. Intercepted by Grace McDermott. McDermott pushes it ahead for Draheim. De La Rosa and Alonso working ahead, but Drew McCarthy takes it away. Good defense by McCarthy. Here's Miller. Trying to get it through for Fields. Grace McDermott jumps in front and knocks it out of bounds. Well defended that time by McDermott. Under 9 minutes to go in the half. Throw in for Trinity. Right into Jaden Wilson. Wilson gets by McDermott, does not get by Papalera, who deflects her pass out of bounds for a corner kick. Saints have had they've had one corner kick today. This is number 3 for Trinity Christian. Miller's ready for the kick, but she'll wait for a substitute to come on. Easton Armstrong comes into the game. Shaylin Posmus will head out. Here's the kick from Miller. A high one to the backside, headed towards the net, but out of bounds, wide to the right. St. Francis will get a chance to kick it away. Saints looking for 1 or 2 good attacks here over the final several minutes of the first half before we go into the break. They'd love to get a goal, obviously. They'd love more than 1 goal, but just want to show their offense is capable of putting together something against this tough Trinity defense before we go into the break. Draheim ahead to Katurba off of her right foot up into the air. And Katurba gets it back. Here she goes, moving between a couple of defenders. Katurba down the center of the field. Finds Alonso. Alonso shoots. And that one nowhere near the target, but a good setup and a nice idea, and that's what I was talking about. Just trying to get something like that together. Put a little pressure on Trinity Christian. They do it right there. Unfortunately, the final result is a shot that goes about 20 feet wide of the net and sets up a goal kick for Sierra Christopher. Off the head of Miller. Draheim tries to get it back the other way. Draheim does take possession. Passing to the left side and Cook. Brittany Cook's ball is tipped and taken away by McCarthy. Drew McCarthy knocks it out of bounds. There's a clearance by Kaylee Van Elst. saw Kaylee's brother Tyler Van Elst playing in the afternoon game today. Plays for the Trinity Christian men's side, who fell to the St. Francis men's side 6-2 earlier today. In that game, the Trolls scored first, and the Saints came back with a 4-goal barrage, ultimately a 6-goal barrage, but at 1.4 consecutive. So scoring first does not necessarily lead to a win. The Saints know that. Trying to battle from behind today. Grace McDermott heads it out of the box. Recovered. Bianchi works her way around a defender, has a weak touch and out of bounds. And you can see why Bianchi has as many goals as she does. She creates so many opportunities. But today her shot just hasn't been quite on target. And robbed once. Great save by Jessica Keeley earlier in this game. Cook hits it out of bounds. Throw in for the Trolls. It'll belong to Chloe Smith. Tosses into Jaden Wilson. Wilson trying to get around Cook. Cook bodying her up, and Wilson a little bit too forceful trying to push her way through Cook is called for the foul. Whistle blows, the ball is set, and the kick is sent away by Kiki Estrada. 5 minutes to go in the first half of today's game. 1-0, Trinity Christian has the narrow lead. Brummel across midfield. Here's Casey Harris. Harris along the sideline, keeps it in bounds. Nice soft touch. Rolls it ahead for De La Rosa. De La Rosa going up against Ellie Brummel. And Brummel forces it out of bounds in the corner, but along the sideline just barely. It'll be a throw-in rather than a corner kick. Harris tosses it in off the chest of Alonso. Alonso turns around, sends it towards the middle of the field. No one there, taken away by the Trolls. Here's Brenda Estrada stepping up from the defense. Ahead to Carly Draheim, and Draheim is fouled. So a free kick for St. Francis, a pretty good distance out. But still in a position where they can make something out of this. It'll be a 43-yard kick, or it would be if they were able to get it all the way to the net. It's going to be Casey Harris set to take it. Harris lines it up. There's the kick, and it's too strong. So she did elect to put it on the net, or at least try to. A little bit over the net in the end. And goal kick now with just about 3.5 minutes to play before halftime. Sun is setting, almost completely set behind us right now. We'll be in darkness aside from the artificial lights here at the start of the second half. It should commence about 7:10 or so. Here's Sierra Christopher's goal kick. Alonso takes it the other way, but it's taken off of her foot. There's Grace McDermott stepping up. Brenda Estrada, neither team able to control it for more than one touch lately. Now a battle for the ball between Armstrong and Katurba. Armstrong turns and kicks it, but taken away by the Saints. This is Owen working on Katurba and taken away by Carly Draheim. McDermott pushes forward. Smith steps in, forces it downfield. It rolls along the sideline. Is it eventually going to get out? Yes, there it is. It's going to be a throw-in here for St. Francis. And Grace McDermott. Alonso hit that one off of her arm. That's a handball. Here's Taylor Miller to set it up for the Trolls. Miller with the left foot, curls it towards the right side. That ball knocked towards the box and kicked out of bounds nicely by Grace McDermott. She did get that along the sideline for a throw-in. No corner kick here as we start to get very late in the first half. I guess we're not just starting to get late. It is late. 1:37 showing on the clock. There's a battle between Armstrong and Cook. Armstrong turns, shoots, it's wide. Good chance there for the freshman Easton Armstrong. Jessica Keeley was on it, tracking that ball the whole way. She ended up not needing to make a play because it did go wide and out of bounds. Saints will try to get one more good possession going before halftime. Knocked back, Grace McDermott's way, and McDermott pushes it out of bounds. Trolls trying to get one more good possession as well. They've got a minute to score a goal and double their lead. Saints would love to tie it up, obviously, but if they can go into half at 1-0, I don't think they'll be too disappointed with their first half effort. McDermott down the side of the field. Intercepted, pushed back by Jaden Wilson. Wilson runs right into McDermott. Somehow keeps the ball in control. She passes off to the right, and Owen. Jade Owen steps to her right. Kicks back. There's a shot high and over the net. That shot coming there from Easton Armstrong. And that perhaps is the last chance of the half by Trinity Christian. We'll see if Kiki Estrada can kick it sufficiently downfield to prevent the Trolls from making another run. Easton Armstrong jumps in front of that ball, heads it off to Jade Owen. And the Trolls with 10 seconds left may still have one chance. No, Casey Harris gets out of there. And doesn't look like we will see another shot from either side before halftime. Ball rolls towards the sideline. They'll let it roll because the first half buzzer has sounded, and we've played 45 full minutes of soccer with Trinity Christian on top of St. Francis, 1-0. The goal came in the 22nd minute from Chloe Smith. Smith, so far, the go-ahead, the only goal that we've seen in this one. But St. Francis showed some life offensively late in the half. We'll see if they can turn that into some better scoring opportunities early in the second half. Right now, we'll take a break. I'll be back in about 15 minutes to bring you the rest of this game. 1-0 Trinity Christian at halftime. Second half just about set to commence here in Joliet. Terry Bonadonna back with you on the call for today's game as the Saints trail the Trinity Christian Trolls 1-0. Not a poorly played first half by the Saints, although they were back on defense more often than not. That's often the case against Trinity Christian, a very powerful offensive team. So we look at some of the stats from the first half. 14 shots for Trinity Christian, only 4 for St. Francis, but the Trolls only had 1 more reach the goal. 3 shots on goal, 2 for the Saints, 2 saves made by Sierra Christopher and 2 saves made by Jessica Keeley. One of them was particularly impressive. It saved what looked like a sure goal. Not a lot of fouls, only 5 against Trinity Christian, 2 against St. Francis, as Casey Harris gives a big kick downfield to start the second half. The 1 goal was scored back in the 22nd minute. It was Chloe Smith scoring off an assist from Jessica Owen. A really impressive goal from Smith, who had not scored prior to that, despite the team scoring almost 4 times per game. Smith, the midfielder, had not been involved in any goals this year until this one. A good-looking shot into the top left corner of the net out of Jessica Keeley's reach. Keeley's still out there in goal for the Saints, but there is a new goalkeeper for Trinity Christian. I'll tell you about her in just a moment. And it is not a surprise move, as Poltmus lets that one go out of bounds. A St. Francis throw in here, deep in their own territory. And they're able to get it out of harm's way as Alejandra Alonso has that one out of bounds. Emily Ponstein is in for Trinity Christian, the closer for the Trolls. She usually plays in the second half. After a fine first half of action from Sierra Christopher, Ponstein making her 10th appearance in 11 games this year. She has saved 25 shots. It's almost twice as many as the starter Sierra Christopher. I don't know exactly why, because I haven't been watching Trinity Christian play other than today, but my guess would be that typically the Trolls have a big lead in the second half, as they do, and with that being the case, they're probably getting peppered with a lot more wild shots from the opposition just desperately trying to get back into the game in the second half. So they would see more shots from their second half goalkeeper, Ponstein, than they would for their first half keeper, Sierra Christopher. That shot sails well wide and out of bounds. Jessica Bianchi trying to get involved in the action. 14 goals and 7 assists in 10 games this year. She's averaging more than 2 points per game in terms of goals and assists, and yet nothing today. She's taken several shots. They just haven't gone anywhere. Bianchi has 4 shots in the game today, and they have, for the most part, been able to hold her down. 1 good-looking shot on goal, but that was the one save I was talking about a few moments ago. That was made by Jessica Keeley to prevent that goal. Here's Owen passing off to the left, and Smith trying to work it towards the box. Kiki Estrada jumps in the way. Now the ball loose in the box. Estrada trying to work it out of there, pushing it to the near sideline, and she rolls it ahead to Posmus. Jessica Owen takes the pass from Posmus, but the ball's taken away from her. Here's Carly Draheim. Draheim for De La Rosa. And now Alonso. Casey Harris passes off to the right side, looking for Grace McDermott, but Marissa Fields jumped in on that one and pushed it downfield in the other direction. Back and forth down the sideline, finally out of bounds. The throw will go to Trinity. Trolls have outshot the Saints 15-4 so far today, but only a 1-goal lead. Saints are 1 good shot away from tying this thing up. They are no stranger to close games. I talked about it in the first half, but they've played back-to-back overtime games, and both of them have made it all the way to double overtime. One of them made it all the way to the conclusion of double overtime in a tie. The other came pretty close, with the final goal being scored with less than 30 seconds on the clock. There's a shot from outside and a good save by Keeley, punching that ball just over the net. That one looked right on target from Shaylin Posmus. Great save by Keeley. She's made a couple of good ones today. The reigning CCAC Defensive Player of the Week. Now she'll have another challenge, and the entire defense will join in this challenge on the corner kick. Set up by Taylor Miller on the near side. Miller's kick is away. It goes to the back post. It's headed towards the net, and another save made by Keeley, as that one Goes right into her chest on one bounce off the header. Keeley doing more than holding her own today. She's really playing well in net and keeping her team in this game, and especially just the last minute or so. Here in the second half. 4.5 minutes gone in the second half. Saints still struggling to get anything going on the offensive end. Here's Drew McCarthy. McCarthy works her way around Katurba. A good run from her. She gives it up to Lexi Zambrano. Off on the right side, it's Posmus. Posmus' pass deflected by Brittany Cook. Here's Casey Harris once again. Harris downfield for De La Rosa, who can't quite get there. Good defense instead by Kaylee Van Elst. Katurba heads it towards the middle of the field. Ellie Brummel pushes it away. A little bit of a collision as the ball is knocked out of bounds by St. Francis. Here's Draheim. Back to Camille Papalera. She works it to the opposite end, and Grace McDermott. And McDermott loses that one out of bounds. Draheim once again for the Saints, pushes to the middle of the field, and Casey Harris. Harris lobs it down the other way for Olivia De La Rosa. Here's Draheim again looking for De La Rosa, but Van Elst stepping in front. And here come the Trolls again. Another quick defensive stop for Trinity Christian. They've been able to get the ball out of their territory pretty quickly, pretty frequently. But so far, the St. Francis defense has held up, so Trinity's not been able to pull away in this thing. Draheim to the middle of the field, and Katurba. Katurba turns it upfield. She's got a little help to her left. She does not give it up, and instead runs right into the defender, Drew McCarthy. And the Trolls take it away. Smith. Back to McCarthy. McCarthy gives it a big kick down off the foot of Kiki Estrada. Brenda Estrada trying to clear it, but she can't. Ball is won by Lexi Zambrano. Here's a good chance for the Trolls, and a good sliding stop by Papalera, intercepting the pass from Zambrano that was intended for Jessica Bianchi. Down towards the box, and Keeley will jump in on that one. Under 38 minutes to play in the game, 1-0, Trinity Christian leads. Taylor Miller overran that ball, but nobody else in the territory, so she takes control and then loses it out of bounds. And now we've got a whistle away from there. And the yellow card is going to be given to the St. Francis bench. Not sure if that was specifically directed at head coach John Niksovich or if it was the bench in general. There's got to be some jawing going on down there right now. And so the yellow card has been given. First booking in the game today. Pass missed to Zambrano down the field. Here's Kiki Estrada, taken away by Jessica Bianchi. Estrada gives it a big boot towards midfield. Knocked back the other way by the Trolls. Chloe Smith directing traffic and passing off to her right. Drew McCarthy, a little out of control, but she hangs on to it. Jessica Owen. Posmus will run right into Kiki Estrada, and Estrada tries to keep this one in bounds and get a little help going downfield. She does. Nice work by Estrada. Brittany Cook's able to finish that one off. Now Casey Harris cannot keep it in. McCarthy tosses it back in play. Martina Katurba looking for Carly Draheim. Can't hook up with her, and Katurba runs right through it. Knocked out of bounds by Brittany Cook. A throw-in coming up here for Trinity Christian. 36 minutes to play in the game. Shaylin Posmus will step up and make the throw here. Sophomore midfielder from Hudsonville, Michigan. McCarthy stepping up on defense and out-hustling De La Rosa to that ball. Now it's loose in the box. Bianchi making a run, but Keeley falls on top of it. Jessica Keeley once again a nice play from the goalie position. St. Francis trying to stay unbeaten in conference play. They have not lost a game since September 15th against Huntington. Since then, they've won 3 games and they've tied 1. 2-0-1 officially in conference. One of those 4 games during the current unbeaten streak was a non-conference game. That was a 1-0 win at Oakland City on September 18th. They have scored 1 goal exactly in 3 of their last 4 games. So the offense has not been on fire, but they've not been shut out in a while. You have to go all the way back to September 8th, a 2-0 loss against Davenport, one of the 2 times they've been shut out in their 10 games this year. Here's a run for Trinity, and knocked away by the St. Francis defense. Deflected out of bounds. It'll be a Saints throw-in. Saints, however, were shut out in their most recent game on Tuesday against Olivet until overtime. They can't wait that long today, already down 1-0. They're going to need a goal just to get to overtime. Nice run there by Chloe Smith. Gets it ahead to Bianchi. Bianchi running up the middle. Passes ahead for Smith. Smith loses it off the second touch, and it's sent away by the defense. Draheim to Katurba. Martina Katurba. Strong ball downfield, looking for Alonso, and Alonso gets through it against a couple of defenders ahead to De La Rosa, who's offside. Olivia De La Rosa was offsides, and the chance is lost to St. Francis, but a great run there by Alejandra Alonso. And they can't quite finish it off. De La Rosa about a step and a half in front of the defense. Just took off too early. Saints still have possession, though, as they try to mount another run. There's a trip up and a foul call. Saints went 109.5 minutes in their last game before scoring a goal. I mean, a long drought because they hadn't scored over the second half of their last game, their previous game, I should say, either. Today, the defense has been great. Just trying to get it going on the other end. Estrada quickly inserts the ball back into play to Camille Papalera, who reverses field. On the right side, it's Grace McDermott. Estrada pushes onward. And taken back by Bianchi. Here comes Bianchi on the run against several defenders. Carly Draheim's the one who's able to step in front of her fellow number 5 and take the ball away. We're down to just about 32 minutes to play in the game now. Still a lot of time in this one, but we are starting to get into the latter stages. That ball sent into the box, and Keeley will step up and make the stop there. Keeley's actually been busier in the second half than she was in the first, which is a little bit surprising considering 14 shots taken by Trinity Christian in the first half. Not all that many of them were actually on target. Keeley, whether it's been a shot or just involving herself and trying to pick up a loose ball to prevent a shot, has had to jump into the action quite a few times here over the last 15 minutes. Here's Taylor Miller. Miller working against Casey Harris, cuts it back to her right and passes in that direction, but it's intercepted. Alonso ahead for De La Rosa. Olivia De La Rosa, 4 goals this year for St. Francis to lead the way. Hasn't been able to get any clean shots off tonight. Alonso on the far sideline, trying to get around Marissa Fields. She's not able to get around Fields, but Fields shoves her to the ground in that prevention. So she's whistled for the foul. It's a free kick here for St. Francis. Far along the sideline. A little over 40 yards away from the net. Carly Draheim sets it up. Saints trying to turn this into a scoring opportunity. Draheim boots it into the box. Overshoots Alonso, undershoots De La Rosa, and it's knocked away by the defense. Draheim is able to chase it down. The Saints look to put together another run. Papalera intercepted, and here come the Trolls. Back to midfield. And taken away once again. Good defense by Papalera. Harris kicks it ahead for De La Rosa, who's not there. Instead, it's Drew McCarthy clearing. Brenda Estrada rolls it to her left. Brittany Cook. Ahead for Katurba, muscled off the ball and knocked out of bounds by St. Francis. A couple of subs will come in for Trinity Christian. We saw Easton Armstrong in the first half. We also saw Jaden Wilson in the first half. Both of them back in right now as Lexi Zambrano and Shaylin Postmus will get a breather. Nice play by De La Rosa, knocking the ball away from Drew McCarthy. McCarthy wisely just sends it back to the goalkeeper, Emily Ponstein, who pushes it back downfield. Here's Harris, deflected. Back to the Trolls. This is Jaden Wilson. Wilson's pass into no man's land, and Keeley will chase that ball down as it rolls into the box. An easy stop for Jessica Keeley there. Down to 28.5 minutes remaining on the clock now. St. Francis in a little bit of trouble, down by 1 goal. Still hanging in there, though. Trying to get one good attack. Set up a brand new game. Good steal there from Marissa Fields. Fields pushes it ahead for Jaden Wilson. Down in the corner. Will Wilson get to it? No, she will not. Camille Papalera gets in her way and forces that ball to roll all the way out of bounds. Nice work by Papalera. We've got a goal kick coming up. Trinity Christian put together some huge wins in non-conference season and some big ones early non-conference play as well. But the offense has, I wouldn't say they've been stifled, but they've been slowed down a little bit over the last few games now that they're really getting into the tough section of CCAC play. They'll take on Olivet Nazarene after this. That's going to be another tough test for them coming up later this week. They've got their hands full right now with the Fighting Saints, who are giving them all they can handle. Just haven't been able to break through. On the far side, Grace McDermott chases that towards the sideline, lets it roll out, and will get to throw it in. Into Alonso, does a nice job controlling that ball and pushing it off to Kiki Estrada. Ahead for Olivia De La Rosa, nothing doing. Saints are playing with just one forward here in the second half, and De La Rosa has not gotten any clean touches. So even down by a goal, they're doubling down defensively. And it's been working to some extent. At some point, they're going to have to put a little extra pressure on the Trolls' defense as they put a little pressure on the Trolls' defense here and force Kaylee Van Elst to just tap that ball right out of bounds. Draheim gets to inbound it from Trinity Christian territory into the box, and De La Rosa. De La Rosa tries to turn it back up the middle. Ball loose. Here's Katurba. She loses it. And the ball kicked away. One quick mistake by the Trolls. Saints could not take advantage, and now Jessica Bianchi on the other end flying down the field. She loses it out of bounds, but Bianchi has got some serious speed. Junior forward from Elmhurst, Illinois. Wilson turns it up and gets knocked out of bounds for a corner kick. Talked about it a little bit during the men's game against Trinity Christian, and I'll bring it up again because it's the same story on the women's team. They're a local team without a lot of local players. Very few Illinois residents on the roster, only 3 of them. They've got 9 players from Michigan and 12 from California. That ball sent in on the corner right at the goalkeeper this time. An easy stop for Jessica Keeley. It's always interesting just looking at the makeup of any NAIA roster, especially soccer to me has always been the most interesting because there are usually so many foreign-born players for this particular game. But it's not like an NCAA Division I team where you build up from all over. Usually you're finding players from a specific area. Almost the entire St. Francis roster hails from Illinois. Brittany Cook is from Michigan. Grace McDermott is from Iowa. And that's it. Everybody else is from this home state. It's always interesting to see another school, similar sized school, same level of competition. They bring them in, a lot of them from California and Michigan. Goal kick is immediately intercepted, but Saints clear it. Lexi Trujillo pushes forward. Lexi Trujillo just checked in just a moment ago. That's Lexi with 2 X's, L-E-X-X-Y. One of 3 Lexis on the team, but the other 2 are unified in their spelling, L-E-X-I. And here's one of them right now, L-E-X-I Zambrano in for D-R-E-W Drew McCarthy. McCarthy a little bit sore. She'll get looked at by the medical staff as she checks out. 24 minutes to go in the game. There's Jessica Owens kicking it deep down the middle of the field. Nobody there for either side, and now the ball loose in the box. Bianchi gets taken out, and no whistle blows. I'm not sure if she was in the box or just outside of it. If she had been taken out in the box and they called a foul, that's a penalty kick, but nothing called, so it doesn't really matter where she was situated. The ball ended up rolling harmlessly into the hands of Jessica Keeley. Here's Ellie Brummel. Brummel passes it off to Owen. Owen turns off to her right. Pushed ahead, but a little bit too far out in front of Bianchi. Saints are able to take it away. Draheim. Downfield for De La Rosa. De La Rosa can't put her head on that ball, but it is rolled back to Draheim, who will push it ahead to De La Rosa again. Now De La Rosa looking for a little bit of help. She couldn't find it. Trolls looking for a counter, but nobody on the right side for them as the ball is pushed out of bounds. St. Francis gets to throw it back in. Brittany Cook down the sideline and out of bounds. Here comes Taylor Miller. Miller ahead to Bianchi. And back to Miller. Towards the center of the field, Jaden Wilson. Nothing doing. Here's Lexi Trujillo. Passing off to the right side and too strong for Easton Armstrong. Ball is re-entered by Cook, and Alonso is shoved in the back. So foul called and free kick right here at midfield. Draheim will set it up and go. Right down the middle of the field, too high for Alonso, and going back the other way. Mistouch there by Jaden Wilson, and that allows the Saints to bring in a new player. Brenda Estrada coming out. Olivia Hollander is in. Hollander started but was removed pretty early in the game. We'll see if she can provide a spark now late. 21 minutes to play. Battle is won by Trinity for that ball. Knocked back downfield by the Saints, but out of bounds. And now the clock is stopped at 20 minutes, 53 seconds. We're ready to continue. Estrada pushes it ahead and going right back the other way from Van Elst. Cook looking for De La Rosa. De La Rosa, the first one to touch that ball, tapping it off to Katurba, and Katurba is able to control it. To Draheim. Right back to the freshman Katurba, and kicked away from her. St. Francis still in control, moving forward on offense. It's McDermott losing it. Camille Papalera ahead to Casey Harris. Alonso forcing it off towards the sideline, and De La Rosa, we've got a whistle. St. Francis will get the kick here. This is within striking distance for sure. Just over 40 yards out. And slightly to the right of the net. It'll be Casey Harris, who's got a little bit of a stronger leg than Carly Draheim, taking the kick. Down by 1 goal, under 20 minutes to play. The kick from Harris is too strong. The second time today that Harris has gotten one of those kicks, and they both look very similar in soaring well high and over the net. Just putting a little bit too much on it. It's a very windy night, and the wind right now blowing in that direction, so maybe that contributed to the kick as well. As Katurba checks out, and Kelly Petrowski, freshman, back in. Like Hollander, she started the game, but has spent the majority of it on the bench. Sarah Heinberg, the only one that we have not seen today, and she is not able to play today. We've seen John Niksevich making the substitutions best that he's able, trying to keep players fresh, but there's just not much of a bench. Jaden Wilson pushes ahead for Bianchi. Bianchi mistouches and loses possession. Here's Casey Harris taking the ball off the foot of Marissa Fields. Harris deflected over to Carly Draheim. Draheim rolls it through. Nice ball to Kelly Petrowski, but Petrowski just can't quite reach it. Trying to keep it alive against a couple of defenders. Petrowski does still have possession. Keeps the ball in bounds as Brittany Cook lofts it into the box. And there's a whistle. I think they may have, although that one did go out of bounds back a few seconds ago. So it'll be Trinity Christian getting the throw here. Few subs first for the Trolls. Chloe Smith is back in, and so is Shaylin Postmus. Still going Trinity's direction here. 17.5 minutes to play in the game. Trolls scored their goal in the 22nd minute, and they've been clutching on to that 1-0 lead ever since. Some good defense, some really nice goalkeeping has kept it at 1-0. Saints have not had that spark offensively to try to tie it up. Kelly Petrowski trying to start that here. Petrowski turns it back towards the middle, deflected by Miller. And taken away by the Trolls' defense. Lexi Zambrano forces it the other way. Here's Taylor Miller. Chips it down into the box and easily played by Jessica Keeley. Saints have just one shot here in the second half. They have only 2 shots on goal for the game. Both of them came in the first half. Only 5 shots total today. Trinity Christian has 16 shots, which is a much higher number, obviously, but most of those came in the first half. They really haven't had any great opportunities here in the second. Here's the ball taken away by the Trolls once again, coming across midfield. Pushing it to the left side. This is Ellie Brummel. Brummel up from the defensive side. Driving all the way into the box, but taken away. Camille Papalera, the primary defender there. Fields. Centers it towards Bianchi. Bianchi going up against Estrada. Gets around Estrada. Shoots and off the crossbar. Or actually off the side post is what it was. Saints catch a big break. That looked like a sure goal for Jessica Bianchi after she made a nice move to get around Kiki Estrada. Just missed by inches. And it's still a one-goal game. Bianchi just misses her 15th goal of the year. Now the Saints trying to counter. Olivia De La Rosa cuts to her right and back to the middle of the field. Gives it up to Casey Harris. Harris on the move against Fields. All the way down into the corner. Knocked away from Casey Harris and out of bounds. The Saints will get to throw it in here. 15 minutes to play in the game. It looked seconds ago like it was about to be a 2-0 deficit, but it's still 1, and now the Saints have it inside the Trolls box. Casey Harris crosses. Headed away by St. Francis. Kelly Petrowski could not get a good look at that one. And here's Olivia Hollander working it back of the box against Lexi Trujillo, but Trujillo contributes to clearing it for Trinity. Saints still in possession. Brittany Cook to the center of the field, knocked away by Chloe Smith. Olivia Hollander back to Papalera, who rolls it to the right side, and Grace McDermott. Now Hollander ahead for Alonso. Alejandra Alonso pushes onward to Casey Harris, and Casey Harris, a little miscommunication with De La Rosa, kicks it out of bounds. Jessica Owen, Easton Armstrong back in for the Trolls. Taylor Miller and Marissa Fields sit down. And the Trolls have a throw in here from Ellie Brummel. There's an interception, but knocked right back to Kiki Estrada. Here's Harris. Looking for Petrowski, didn't find her. Smith working quickly the other way. Gets it through to Jaden Wilson. Can Wilson keep it in bounds? She cannot catch up to that ball. It'll roll out for a goal kick. Quick clock stoppage here as Jessica Keeley tends to her untied shoelaces. 13:17 showing on the clock. Well, it's tough to tie your shoes as a goalkeeper. You got to take your gloves off first. And so she's got her gloves back on and ready to go. Trinity Christian waiting to make a substitution, but it'll have to wait. Saints goal kick here. Kiki Estrada will put it back in. Off of Carly Draheim. Draheim gives it up. And Grace McDermott trying to keep it alive for the Saints, but she loses that ball out of bounds. Taylor Miller coming back in for the Trolls, and it's our first look. I think it's our first look today at Alexa Miller, who has not been out there yet. I don't remember seeing her. Jessica Bianchi will get her first break of the game. And Alexa Miller listed on the roster as defense will come in to play forward. She's the first one to touch the ball off the throw-in, wearing those bright orange cleats. She has the ball knocked away from her by Camille Papalera, who taps it out of bounds. Tossed in, hit up in the air, and brought in by Jessica Keeley. Draheim not able to possess that one. It's Taylor Miller instead. Miller pushes it ahead. Owen trying to find Chloe Smith, but couldn't. It's Kiki Estrada instead. Estrada loses it. Posthumous taken away by Kelly Petrowski. Here's Casey Harris ahead to Petrowski. Petrowski trying to get it through to De La Rosa. Good deflection by Lexi Zambrano. Harris touches once and loses, trying to get to Alejandra Alonso. Here's Easton Armstrong to Alexa Miller, and taken away by Grace McDermott. Alonso trying to turn it upfield. Pushed ahead for Olivia De La Rosa. De La Rosa's got a step here. She's also got Kelly Petrowski to her left. There's a shot and a goal! Into the back of the net, Olivia De La Rosa. A great shot from De La Rosa from a tough angle. Deep on the right side, she ties it at 1 with exactly 11 minutes to play in the game. That's a heck of a goal at a huge moment. De La Rosa shook free of the defender. She was out in front. I thought she was going to look for Petrowski because Petrowski was wide open in front of the net as well. A good cross, I think, would have set up a goal for Petrowski, but De La Rosa decided to do it all on her own. A beautiful shot to tie the game 1-1. So now the Saints have a chance to win it here. And the Trolls will need a goal to do the same. And they've got their leading goal scorer on the bench right now, but they may decide to bring her back a little bit sooner than they originally wanted to. Bianchi, in fact, is already standing on the sideline ready to come back into the game. As that ball goes out of bounds, she won't be able to come in yet because this is a St. Francis throw-in. Saints still in Trinity territory here as Hollander loses it. Hollander knocks it away from the defender. Taylor Miller. Emil Papalera sends it the other direction. Now here's Hollander. Going back and forth at this point. Neither team has sustained an attack since the St. Francis goal a minute and a half ago. This is Harris. I think Harris may have touched that ball with her hand. Free kick here for Trinity Christian, just past midfield. Into the box, it's Wilson. Wilson did not get a clean touch on that. Good defense by the Saints, and Brittany Cook tried to force it out the sideline, but she couldn't do it. It went out the back line, so it will be a corner kick as Bianchi does come in for Trinity, and Jaden Wilson comes out. Olivia De La Rosa's goal a few minutes ago, her 5th of the season. That moves her ahead of Casey Harris for the team lead. Brenda Estrada in for Alejandra Alonso. Now that they're tied, they'll bring in the extra defensive help once again. The corner kick goes nowhere, and it's knocked out of bounds for a goal kick. Kiki Estrada's kick is sent away and knocked back the other direction by Jessica Owen. Headed off to the side, Brittany Cook pushing it downfield, and that's a handball on Chloe Smith. De La Rosa chasing it down the left sideline, and this one too far out in front of her. It's out for a Trinity throw. Harris. Now taken by Posthumous of Trinity. The Trolls are on the move. Here's Bianchi. Has it taken away from her by Carly Draheim. Nice defense by Draheim. Petrowski taps it off to Harris. Harris, good kick downfield, but it's headed away. Nice header by Jessica Owen. De La Rosa forces that ball up in the air, but she's going to be called for a foul. And an injured player down on the field for Trinity. We're going to need the training staff to come out. I didn't see who that was down there. A little bit of a collision on a ball that was up in the air. 7 minutes, 21 seconds to go. In the second half, we're tied 1-1. And the injured player's still down for Trinity Christian. Hasn't really been moving much down there. So hopefully this is not anything too serious, but it hasn't looked good up to this point. 1-1, we're tied. Trinity Christian scored the game's first goal back in the game's 22nd minute. It was Chloe Smith. The Saints all going off to the sideline as it's looking more like this may be an extended injury delay. 1-0 Trolls all the way until about 4 minutes ago game time. Olivia De La Rosa made a great run down to the right corner at a tough angle, put in a beautiful shot to the left side, and was able to score her 5th goal of the year to tie it up 1-1. That's where we're at right now. The defenses for both of these teams have been excellent today, and it's really been a fine game to watch. And we may watch it for a little bit longer if nobody can score in the next 7 minutes, 21 seconds. The Saints will be headed for their 3rd consecutive overtime game. They would just as soon win it in regulation, but obviously overtime would be preferable to Trinity scoring. Van Elst is up and walking off the field, so that's good. It is Kaylee Van Elst, the injured party. She was down on the ground and not really moving for quite a while, so the fact that she's up and walking off the field entirely under her own strength is a very good sign. But the way that she was down on the ground that way, I would not be surprised if we don't see her again today. She's still walking rather gingerly off the field. So Marissa Fields is going to come in and play in place of her for now. Well, we are ready to continue. 1-1 tie, 7:21 on the clock. And the Trolls will get the kick here. Ellie Brummel has it set up. She'll let the goalkeeper Ponstein send it away. Goal allowed by Ponstein. Just the 4th she's given up this year in 10 games. Granted, she does not play the entirety of those games typically, or ever actually, but still. 4 goals allowed in 10 games is pretty impressive. So to get one past her is no easy task. De La Rosa was able to do it. She'll try to do it again. Cleared by the Trolls, across midfield, and right back the other direction across midfield. The whistle blows. It's going to be a free kick for Trinity here. Taylor Miller will take the kick. Deep into the box, looking for Alexa Miller, and Miller will not be able to catch up to it as Jessica Keeley lets it roll out of bounds. Goal kick coming up. Clock ticks down, under 6 minutes to play in regulation. It is a 1-1 tie. Estrada kicks it down the near sideline. Kelly Petrowski heads it back towards the field of play. Nobody there in white. Chloe Smith passes off to Jessica Owens. Back on the defensive side. This is Brummel. Ellie Brummel works her way to the right. Wilson runs right into the defender. Estrada's able to take it away. And Kiki Estrada's pass deflected by Posmus, but no harm done on that one. Kick is off, but away and out of bounds. And now knocked out by Posmus. St. Francis throws it in. Headed up in the air by Lexi Zambrano. Big header by Zambrano there, because if that ball got by her, it was all the way to Olivia De La Rosa with just one defender to beat. This is De La Rosa. A little bit too strong on the first touch, knocking it into the box. Easy save for Ponstein. Casey Harris. Now Carly Draheim to the right side and De La Rosa. De La Rosa on the right, passes back to Brenda Estrada, and Estrada soars one well out of bounds over the net. Under 4.5 minutes now on the clock. Ponstein in purple sets it up for the goal kick. Here come the Trolls. Knocked away by Draheim. This is De La Rosa. De La Rosa works her way around Brummel, but cannot keep the ball in bounds. Olivia Hollander turns to her right and kicks downfield. Intercepted by Trinity. But nobody back on offense for the Trolls, so as that ball is kicked downfield, it'll easily roll out of bounds. See if the Saints try to make a little run here. Look to get a second goal, or if they're just content to go to overtime. Both teams playing a little bit conservatively over the last few minutes. There's a run for the ball down the near sideline. There's no real benefit to playing for overtime. All that happens is the clock resets. You're still playing in a tie, and in a situation where next goal wins. That's already where we're at right now. It's a tie game, and the next goal, not technically, but almost certainly would win the game. With 2.5 minutes left. One more goal for either side would probably put this thing on ice. Here comes Chloe Smith. She scored the goal for Trinity back in the first half. Rolled off to the right side. Here's Bianchi in the box. Bianchi shoots off the post. For the second time today, Bianchi hits one off the post and misses a second goal by inches. This has been incredible for St. Francis. Not only were they down almost the whole game before coming back to tie it, but they could very easily be trailing 3-1 right now. Still, it's a tie game. It's a corner kick for the Trolls. Played in right in front of the net, and it rolls back beyond the initial offensive attackers. Here's Bianchi. Over to Smith. Smith shoots again, and it's saved by Keeley. Keeley had to step out of the range of the net to play that one, as it was going to bound a couple of feet wide to the right. That shot from Bianchi a few minutes ago could not have been much closer. It actually rattled the net, but did not go through. There's a kick downfield for De La Rosa. It'll overshoot her and go out of bounds with Lexi Zambrano on the defense. Tossed in by Zambrano. This is Jaden Wilson. Wrestled off the ball by Kiki Estrada. Jessica Owen pushes ahead looking for Bianchi. Didn't have it. Under a minute to play in regulation. Nobody scores in these last 52 seconds. We're headed for a third consecutive overtime. Bianchi trying to break through. Bianchi's into the box again. Another shot from Bianchi. It's tipped in front of the net. Knocked away by the defense. And that ball is cleared. What a defensive play by Grace McDermott. Twice in the last 2 minutes, it looked like Trinity Christian had this game won. Instead, we stay tied, 30 seconds to go. Lexi Zambrano is down for the Trolls, but she'll get up and continue playing, as play never halted. Maybe the last chance here for the Saints. Olivia De La Rosa halted by Easton Armstrong. And it looks like one last chance for Trinity Christian before overtime. That ball cleared towards the middle of the field. Still loose, it's booted away, and that should do it for regulation. High up into the air. The buzzer has sounded, and we are headed back to overtime, tied 1-1. It's been an amazing game today, a great comeback from 1-0 down. Olivia De La Rosa, fantastic shot from the right side, able to tie it up with 11 minutes to play in the game. And then 3 bullets dodged by the Saints. Bianchi had 2 shots go off the post that just missed, becoming the winning goal. And then Grace McDermott with Jessica Keeley out of the play because she had dove seconds earlier to tip the ball away. It was loose right in front of the net, a wide open net. McDermott slid in front of the ball to make sure it could not go any further. So 3 chances to win the game for Trinity. They didn't happen, and we're headed to overtime. I'll take a quick break, back in about 4 minutes with the overtime period. So stick with us. We're tied at 1. St. Francis playing game 3 of a 3-game homestand here. 3 home games in the span of 8 days, and all 3 of them have gone to overtime. They tied St. Xavier 1-1 last Saturday. They beat Olivet Nazarene 1-0 on Tuesday. And here we go at the start of overtime here in the 3rd consecutive game, tied with Trinity Christian 1-1. And getting to this point today has been something of a miracle, considering some late chances that Trinity Christian had. 2 off the post and 1 great play by Grace McDermott on defense to save what looked like a definite goal for Trinity Christian. We're still tied 1-1 thanks to Olivia De La Rosa's equalizer with 11 minutes to play in the game. Here we go with the Saints going the same direction they were going in the second half, from right to left on your screen. That will change in the second overtime, if indeed we get there. Casey Harris throws it in. 10-minute overtime period. Clock down to just over 9 minutes now, as we are pretty much just underway here in overtime number 1. Tossed into Brenda Estrada. Estrada taps it back to Harris. Popped into the goalkeeper's area, and Kelly Petrowski was there but couldn't get her head on it. Carly Draheim ahead to Petrowski. Petrowski loses it, and it's cleared by the Trolls. And now here comes the counter. Kiki Estrada slides in, can't make the stop, but Camille Papalera there for backup. Here's Chloe Smith on the run for the Trolls. Smith pushes it ahead, looking for Jaden Wilson, deflected away. Wilson over to Bianchi, right back to Wilson on the left side. Papalera slides in, takes the ball off the foot of Jaden Wilson. Wilson gets up, goes back at it to Bianchi, in front of the net, just a little bit out of her range. Now knocked back to Owens, she shoots and scores. Jessica Owens, just 2 minutes into overtime, scores for Trinity Christian. They had not scored since the 22nd minute. The St. Francis defense had been outstanding. But a great setup there. Jessica Owen all over it, and a beautiful shot to put this thing away at 2-1 in favor of the Trinity Christian Trolls. For Jessica Owen, that is the 4th goal of the season. And it is a game winner today, as the Trolls improve to 10-1 on the season. And they pick up their 3rd conference win of the year, improving to 3-1. They send St. Francis to their first conference loss of the season. The Saints fall to 6-3-2, and they drop to 2-1-1 in CCAC play. Tough loss for the Saints today, and it's hard to say that the Trinity Christian Trolls didn't deserve to win this one. For the most part, they did outplay St. Francis throughout the game today, and yet Saints fought so hard. They got themselves back to overtime, and it seemed like they had a shot in this one and just couldn't quite finish it off. And Trinity Christian did come up with the goal that they needed to wrap up the victory. Some of the final stats for today: Trinity Christian 21 shots, only 7 for St. Francis on goal, 6 for the Trolls, 3 for the Saints. 2 saves made by Trinity Christian goalkeepers, and both of them came from the starters. Sierra Christopher. Emily Ponstein was unable to stop the only shot on goal that came her way. 4 saves made today by Jessica Keeley, but she couldn't quite stop that last one, as the Saints allowed 2 goals in a game for the first time since September 8th, ending a 5-game streak. September 15th was the last time they had done it. So they end a 4-game streak in which they had allowed either 1 or 0 goals. Again, 2-1 the final in overtime today. The 2 goals for Trinity. The first one came from Chloe Smith, the first of her college career, and then the game winner from Jessica Owen, her 4th goal this season, her 2nd game winner. St. Francis' 1 goal came from Olivia De La Rosa in the 79th minute, her 5th to lead the team this season. It was a tying goal. It sent it to overtime, but not quite enough firepower offensively for the Saints to come away with the win today. So that's going to do it for our broadcast. 2-1, Trinity Christian comes away with the victory over St. Francis. The next 2 for the Saints are on the road. They're at Cardinal Stritch, in what should be a very tough game against the conference leader on Wednesday. And then next Saturday, they're at Trinity International. They are back at home 2 weeks from today against Judson University. But that is all from Joliet, Illinois today. Thanks for tuning in for the University of St. Francis and their 2-1 loss to Trinity Christian. This is Terry Bonadonna signing off. Good night, all.